Hey there, YouTube. How's it going? Nerdy Narwhal here, and I'm back again today to continue reading the stories of Theseus from W.H.D. Rouse's Gods, Heroes, and Men of Ancient Greece. Welcome back to the front seat of my car. This introduction will be short. Let's dive into it. When we last left Theseus, he had just defeated several robbers on his path to go meet his father, whom he just learned had left him a pair of sandals underneath a giant boulder. Once Theseus was old enough to lift this boulder, he could put on the sandals and take the sword, I think it was, to his father to prove his birthright. So that's the tale that we see Theseus on right now. This next chapter is called Theseus and Medea. And real quick before I start, I'm filming this on my iPad today. So I know that the video quality isn't going to be quite as good as what I usually film on, and I honestly have no idea how the sound is going to work out either. If things seem a little less up to par than usual, I'll notice at the end of this video, and I'll make sure to film it on my other device next time. Here we go. Let's dive in to Theseus and Medea. But rumor runs fast, and it came to Athens. The people were all summoned by sound of trumpet, and when they met in the marketplace, there was Aegeus, the king. The spokesman of the people lifted up his voice and said, "My lord, why did the trumpet call us together? Is there danger of war? Are bands of robbers lifting the cattle and sheep? And what trouble is there?" The king said, "A messenger is come from the isthmus, who tells of prodigious deeds done by a mighty man. Sinis, the pine bender, is dead. The wild sow is dead, which killed men and laid waste the countryside. Skiren lies at the foot of the cliff. The wrestling school of Cercyon is shut up for good. Procrustes has been hammered on his own bed." The spokesman said, "Who is the man, sir, who does these mighty deeds? For such things are not done without God's help. Is he alone or at the head of an army?" The king said, "He has a couple of servants with him. So I am told. He wears a crimson tunic and a leathern headpiece upon his nut-brown hair. He carries 2 lances and a club. A sword with ivory hilt is slung over his shoulder, and a woolen mantle covers all." The people dispersed and welcomed Theseus in crowds along the way, and the king made a banquet to do him honor. He had forgotten all about Aethra, and never knew who Theseus was. But his wife, the queen, was Medea, whom you have heard of already, a beautiful and terrible witch, and she knew him at once by her magical power. But she bided her time, and by she said to the king, "Who is this young man?" He said, "I don't know, but he is a fine fellow." Medea said, "Yes, indeed he is. He has destroyed all those robbers, and the wild sow. Why not send him after the bowl of Marathon?" For at Marathon, not far from Athens, was the Cretan bull, which, as you remember, Heracles had brought there from Crete. And this bull was doing a great deal of damage. Medea hoped that the bull would kill Theseus, and then her own son might be king when Aegeus died. Aegeus agreed, and Theseus set off for Marathon. With a strong rope to bring back the bull, he made a noose in this rope and laid a plan to tackle the bull. For, as you remember, he did his great deeds by cleverness, not by brute force. I do not know exactly how he managed it, but the picture which the Greeks made shows him lying under the bull. so I suppose he did something like what the Spanish bullfighters do. He took off his crimson tunic and carried it bundled up in one hand, holding the noose in the other. Then he walked quietly up to the bull, and as the bull stood pawing the ground and preparing to charge, he spread out the red cloth suddenly towards the left, fluttering in the air. This caught the bull's eye, for they hate red cloth, and as he moved his head towards the red cloth, Theseus threw it down, dived under him on the near side, and got the noose over his hind legs. Then he pulled the noose tight, and there was the bull, caught fast. Theseus brought the bull back to Athens, and it was killed at a solemn sacrifice. Thus, Medea's first plan was foiled, but she made a second plot to poison Theseus. She kept on dropping hints and talking to Aegeus, and pretending she feared that the young man might plot against the king. He was so popular in the city, she said, that he might lead the people to rebel against him. It would be impossible now to send him away, and the only thing was to poison him. Aegeus did not like this plan, but he was persuaded by his wicked wife, and at last she agreed. So, the next time they were dining together, Medea put poison in the wine cup and handed it to Theseus. But just as Theseus lifted the cup to his lips, Aegeus happened to notice the sword which was slung over his shoulder. He had never seen it so close before, and when he saw it, he knew it as his own. At once he dashed the cup from the lips of Theseus and cried out, "You are my son!" Then Theseus showed him the sword and the shoes, which Aegeus had never looked at before, and told him the whole story. Aegeus was very much ashamed that he had neglected his son so long, but he was much more glad that he had been saved from murdering him. He was very angry with Medea and banished her from the countryside, and Theseus was acknowledged as his true son and heir. Although Aegeus was still afraid of his brother and his brother's 50 sons, Theseus was safe enough, because all the people loved him and admired him. Now that was a very quick chapter. I'm not going to read another one today, though. We'll continue that tomorrow. But yeah, lots of stuff. The pacing really quick, whereas it slowed down maybe a little bit in that last one for Theseus to do all these deeds and getting the robbers. This was just a real quick wham bam, thank you ma'am. We're in the city of Athens. We got to get rid of this wicked woman. So that happens. Theseus rises to the task. I do like the dichotomy that is created between Theseus and Hercules, whereas Hercules was all brawn, taking care of all of his labors, the labors of Hercules. It gets reiterated often that Theseus himself is pretty athletic, pretty powerful of a young man, but still prefers to use his noggin. I think that's pretty fun. Anyways, we'll continue this tomorrow, the stories of Theseus. I hope you guys are enjoying this. And of course, I have more action figure reviews coming also. So stay tuned. Anyways, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on learning. Bye-bye, YouTube.